With WWE interested in an AEW star whose contract is running out and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Going into detail on the title change from AEW Dynamite, with Wardlow losing the TNT belt to Will Hobbs, it was reported that Will Hobbs was tentatively planning to win the TNT Championship around this time months ago. When Fightful reported last fall that Hobbs was set for a big push, this was the endgame. Will Washington will have more details on day after Dynamite. On Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Santino Marella talked about his time in WWE and about how he tried to get other stars to break character on television. Oh, that's a good question. Probably John Cena. When it comes from John Cena, it's funny because people come up to me like signings or conventions and they're like, we can't call them John Cena for like the last 15 years. We call him John Cena. And like, it's changed the way a lot of people speak to, but it was just so sudden. Like the pop was just kind of like, just caught himself, but it actually became a goal of mine to try and pop everybody. Reacting to MJF throwing a drink on a fan at AEW Revolution, Jim Cornette said this on his drive-thru podcast. MJF bailing to the floor and throwing the water on the kid? Oh my god, what booze it got. Well, I heard that from the scrum afterwards. I heard that it became a deal and it was classic. It was great. And he said to the camera, "Is this gonna cost me a star, Dave?" When he was stalling, he got heat by slowing it down like the heel would because Danielson is too good of a technical wrestler. But then they told the stories that Danielson has the bad shoulder, so naturally MJF is going to start working on that. But at the same time, MJF was able to do that wild flipping cannonball thing and land on his feet, but supposedly sell his knees. So is his knee bad or not? We don't know. Speaking to MMA fighting, Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, who was signed to WWE, talked about getting another medal and his future in pro wrestling. "I know the Olympics is next year and hope to be a part of that and keep moving forward and keep winning big titles for the USA also. I would love a second run. I feel I have a lot more left in the tank to showcase. I want to prove USA right and keep moving forward overall and become one of the best American amateur wrestlers ever, and I hope I can achieve the Bruce Baumgartner status of having a bunch of medals and having the accolades to show and be a part of WWE and be an entertainer too. I think that's a discussion when that time comes, and that's a discussion for how my schedule may play out. And you never know how it may play out. As of right now, it's a yes or no. But at the end of the day, I will be ready to compete and put on a good show as always. I'm hoping to return to the Olympics. I will be ready if that time comes. And I won't stop being ready until I know if I can go and if I get that yes or no. It would be really amazing to win a second gold medal, and I hope it happens. And I hope I can do that. I feel if there's someone who can do it, it's me. I've got that burning passion to keep doing it. I believe in myself to the fullest. Recalling the angle in WWE where he was supposed to be Vince McMahon's son, Hornswoggle mentioned why the storyline came to a close, telling Wrestling News, "The only reason I didn't end up becoming the son was I got suspended literally like 5 days before they were going to do the reveal in Green Bay because the reveal ended up happening in Green Bay. I got suspended. I was part of that signature pharmacy story. There was like 9 or 10 of us that got busted for getting performance enhancing supplements off an internet website, which kind of wasn't how that all went down. I remember that particular instance. I came home. They had already told me a few months before. Stephanie had come up to me and said, 'Hey, we're going to do this thing. I want Vince to tell you. Vince thinks this is going to be good. He's excited about it.' I went in and he pitched me the whole idea. 'We're going to have this big investigation and you're going to be my son.' I flew home on a Wednesday. I got a call from Johnny's secretary in the office. 'Hey, you need to come to the airport to come to Stanford. Vince wants to talk to you.' I go back to the airport and fly back to Stanford. A car picks me up and I go to Titan Towers. There are 8 other guys in the office. He said, 'We instituted this wellness policy. On such and such a date, it says here that you received some growth hormone.' I was like, 'It says in our policy that you're not allowed to order this stuff off the internet.' I didn't order it off the internet. I saw a doctor. Well, the doctor ended up ordering it off the internet, so they suspended me for 30 days and fined me $10,000. On Out of Character, Cody Rhodes praised Sami Zayn and said this about their interactions on screen. I look at it as a challenge. It's probably the best way to look at it and not a negative challenge. A challenge of, Sami's doing amazing things. You didn't just buy yourself some future spot. You've got to get back in there and show people exactly what you can do. And actually, the photo you have now, Rhodes and Zayn face to face on Raw, was a really fine moment for me because what a great problem to have when you have two very strong characters. And one of the worst things we can do as a community is try and turn the characters against one another. Sami and I have a real, genuine relationship. I never looked at it in a sense that I thought anything of, well, if they love him, and if that I've been so lucky that they love me in this moment too, I better make sure I give them the absolute best. I never once looked at it as a problem. I looked at it as a challenge, and for WWE as a whole, a great problem to have. And I think Brooklyn, every show was a little more telling, but Brooklyn in the Barclays Center was that filled me with confidence as far as their belief in what he's doing and their belief in what I'm doing. There are stories to be finished here for both sides. For that same interview, Cody Rhodes revealed what a conversation with his late father Dusty Rhodes would look like and how he'd react to his neck tattoo. It would be right up there in one of the first discussions because it's one of the first things he's gonna see. I mean, the presentation of me today, he'd need to see it in full. Like, I wouldn't want to just walk up to him and give him a hug and start talking about the weather. I'd almost want him to see what an entrance of mine looks like today, so he could probably take it all in and understand that, and they're like, oh, the American Nightmare. Oh, I get it. I do think he'd probably think the tattoo is a little big, but you know, hey, with a wrestler's kid, we do crazy things. It's all good. I think he needs to see the full package though to understand. Speaking about the possibility of having his wife Brandi being involved in his current storyline in WWE, Cody Rhodes told Ryan Satin, "We always, from a professional standpoint, I don't know if a lot of people know this, we always wanted to do everything separately. She very much can defend herself and can fight her own battles, very separate in that. No doubt because I always love your show being Out of Character, the name of the show Out of Character, whereas for me, there's no difference between in character me and out of character me. It's just me. And part of that is the people who surround me, you know? The people close to me in my real life are also close to me on screen. So I wouldn't rule it out, but she absolutely loves watching what I'm doing. She's got some stuff that she's working on secretly unrelated and ain't gonna spoil it, but definitely never say never." Talking about how much time he has left in his in-ring career, Paul Wight told Deuce and Mo, "Working hard, training hard to get back in the ring, which will hopefully happen real soon. I've had a hip replacement and just got a knee replacement done in August, which sounds like the end of an athlete's career, but modern technology, I'll tell you, I feel better joint-wise than I've felt the past 15 years. Now, it's about getting the muscle stronger and having a bit more fun. I have a couple years left in AEW for sure, signed a nice healthy contract when I came over, and I plan on making good on that contract in AEW for Tony Khan and myself." On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed the potential ramifications of WWE trying to legalize betting on their matches. As he said, "I don't know if the people who are wanting to do this to get in with DraftKings and get sponsorship money, while at the same time kind of like screwing up the booking aspect of wrestling, really understand wrestling, because they come from different. Wrestling doesn't really fit into the sports thing. There's so many aspects that do, but most don't. Just the vibes that I've gotten from people are just kind of like rolling their eyes and just thinking it's not a good thing, but it might still happen. It may be one of those changes, and maybe they feel that this will raise the price value of the company as they explore the possibility of a sale, because now there's gambling and they can tell the people who they are selling it to that we're going to have a big increase in popularity because gambling will now be allowed on these things, and perhaps the buyers might be fooled. And maybe they think that that's the case. It's uncharted water. It may make it more popular in some ways, but they can't do predictable finishes 70% of the time, not all the time. They would be in a lot of trouble with gambling violations, and that's not something to mess with. They literally can't do that. So the talent won't be able to know their finishes, at least on the stuff that's being gambled on. As the contract of AEW star Brian Cage is reportedly expiring soon, it seems WWE could be looking to sign the star, with it reported that Fightful Select has been told that WWE has maintained interest in Cage in the event he becomes a free agent, and are open to having conversations with the ROH six-man tag team champion. That period won't have to wait long, as we're told AEW and Cage agreed to work together through the end of March, specifically the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. We're told that some of the time that was supposed to be added to Cage's contract is actually because Cage was signed while injured after leaving Impact Wrestling years ago. Those familiar with the situation claimed that AEW offered Cage a contract extension comparable to his current deal, which hasn't been ruled out. Cage's AEW contract was set to expire between late January and mid-February. We're told that Cage has had some heavy hitters within AEW in his corner of late. Chris Jericho specifically spoke publicly, saying he hopes that Cage re-signs with AEW and putting over his work. In some unfortunate news, an apartment fire took place where it seems a former WWE and ECW star was affected, with it reported by PW Insider that PJ Polacco, aka Just Incredible, and his family were displaced following a fire that swept through their building complex on Monday afternoon in his native Waterbury, Connecticut. According to an NBC News article, the fire started on the second floor of the complex and spread to the higher floors. Incredible and his family lived on the third floor and escaped unharmed, but are currently displaced. As of this evening, they have not been allowed to return to the apartment. They are currently being assisted by the Red Cross. Of course, we wish Credible and his family all the best during this time. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.